You're listening to Art Heroes Podcast, the show to help you thrive as a digital artist. Tune in to learn how to transform your passion into a career. Get inspired by other kick-ass 2D and 3D artists, and find out what it takes to be an art hero.
Hi guys, this is Maria JD. I'm your host at Art Heroes Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in back again this week. Today we're talking about streaming, and we're hosting Ashley A. Adams, who's been streaming for ZBrush Live for a really long time, and I'm really curious to know what are her ins and outs, how she goes about it, what this means for her as an artist, and basically what can we all learn from her. How to stream as a champion. Let's go and speak with Ashley. Yes, we're now live. Ashley, thank you so much for coming on the show. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I love having CG girls. There's not so many, and it's always an honor.
Yeah, I was noticing that actually. I was looking through a lot of like the podcasts and stuff that like is online, and I'm just like, oh man, it would be so cool if like more girls would just be like, hey, hi, I'm here, you know, like it would
I know.
Yeah.
I feel exactly the same because it's just like a rare kind.
Yeah, like a little unicorn.
I know. Do you feel like a little unicorn from time to time in the industry?
I mean, that would be putting it nicely sometimes, I guess.
Okay, so just, to give a little bit of a background to everybody who's listening, I'm having Ashley here today because, well, not only because actually I've been following you for a while, partially because of your streams, but also I know a little bit more about you since you're the second prize winner at ZBrush Sculpt Off this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it your first ZBrush ever? The ZBrush Sculpt Off ever?
Yeah, I thought it was super cool that they did like the whole online thing. And so like that was like the only reason why I could even participate. There's like no way that I can get down to LA, especially, well, you know.
Really?
So
yes.
I hope that they do that more in the future, honestly. Like a lot of people got to participate this year, so that was
I know.
cool,
Like
yeah.
just like so many people streaming simultaneously. I think that was really, really powerful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about streaming a little bit later, but like maybe let's just start with you. Can you maybe introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do? Kind of in normal life.
Oh yeah. Sure. So yes, I stream like you said. But before that, it was just always just like, drawing and art in general. Like I'm very artsy fartsy. So when it comes to like saying this is specifically what I do, it's a little bit hard because I like to just make art, whatever that is. But recently I've been a freelance concept 3D character concept artist. So that involves a lot of maquette sculpting for clients, usually on the R&D side. So I'm working on multiple projects at the same time, just kind of like a sculpt machine, just, so it's been really fun. I actually really enjoy that. But I also do the modeling side as well. When all of the sculpt work is done and everybody's like, okay, there's no more artwork. It's like, but we don't want to let you go because we have a project coming. Then, the modeling comes my way, right? So.
Okay. So is there a specific industry that you would gravitate towards, or it's like really open?
Oh yeah, sorry, that like totally came off this. Yeah, I'm in the animation industry, so I like the idea of working in games because I play a lot of games myself. Film has always interested me as well, but there's like, it's one of those things where the project has to be right. I have to be a right fit for me to be like, yeah, I'm going to be excited to work on this, right? And feel confident with it. But animation is where like my big everything happens, right?
Okay. And so how long you've been in the industry? It's like 4 or 5 years, something? Like
Uh,
10, 20? No.
No, 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 no. I'm a baby. I'm a fetus. Probably like, yeah, probably 4 or 5 years, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And like, yeah, everybody always asks, like, even if I don't ask on the podcast, then somebody will ask in the comments, how did you get started? And, what was your learning journey?
Oh, how I got started. So, I mean, do we want like from baby Ash or like because I've always been holding a pencil, right? Like I've always anytime that I've had a chance, I'd be drawing. My dad was an artist as well, and so he'd always encourage me to just you be creative, like grab this
Okay.
paint, throw it at the wall. He didn't get mad at me when I drew on the on the walls and stuff, right? So that's how I got started, really, and that led to a fine arts high school, which
Okay.
obviously at that point I was really like my ego was like up here because like when you're in like grade 8 and like all the kids are like okay at drawing and then it's you and like you can draw a head. He's like I'm good, and then you get into the school and you're like okay I'm actually like not, and so
Yeah.
that's when I was like, oh, I could do this like professionally, probably, right? And I started to get a lot more into games at that point too. Like I was always playing games, but I got more into games. Didn't really fit in with the fine arts crowd, drawing all of my favorite characters from video games, like especially like Master Chief, just drawing Master Chief everywhere. People were looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Like you're not gonna go anywhere. And so I ended up applying to Sheridan College, which is an animation um college, and at that point I just thought I was gonna animate because I was like, what else do you do? Fine arts isn't my thing, and I was just like kind of confused and everything. But when I was there, I met so many different people, and my now current partner actually showed me what ZBrush was at the very beginning of starting college, and I just started doing that even though I had nothing to do with my program. Finished my
Okay.
program, but then I went to 3D. So
Okay. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
It's never a straight
yeah,
line. Yes, it's never a
no,
straight line. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Well, now we know a little bit about you.
yeah.
Yes. And yeah, I actually really like your like the spider that you made for the ZBrush. I think it's just like really, really smartly presented sculpted. It's like it has a story background to it. Like you can think of something that was there. So yeah. So what was since we're now talking about it, or since I'm talking about it, what was the whole like Sculpt Off story for you this year? How did you end up making this piece, and how much preparation went into it?
Oh yeah, this is the student in me. You're gonna get ready for this. Okay. Um so there was this level of procrastination, right? But it came because of my work though, right? So I
Yeah.
had a whole bunch of like crunch that was just thrown on me, and I thought I was like, okay, I have a week to prepare, so I'll be able to actually like do this ahead of time. No, 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 no. Need this now, need this now, need this now. And I was like, okay, well, night of, and I just kind of like threw a whole bunch of images onto a Pinterest and did a quick sketch of like something inside of Photoshop, and I just had it there. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna pray to the 3D gods that this works out. And I just muted the stream for it, right? Because I was like, okay, I just need to like go and just pray. Um, but yeah, I had a whole bunch of images up on my screen at that time, like just anything that was like that I saw as steampunk-y. Steampunk is not my go-to. Like I'm really bad at it. I look at steampunk and it actually like stay away from me. So this is a really, really crazy challenge for me as well, to do something like that. And it kind of opened up my eyes a little bit more too to another world, and it also kind of proves that like oh just because you don't like a specific theme, when you get into it and you actually give it the effort, you can grow to like it, right? You can give your little flair to it, and then all of a sudden it's something that you might actually enjoy. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah,
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 100%. Like sometimes just like certain limitations actually make you push your own boundaries.
yeah, exactly. I like being put in box.
Yeah, yeah, I think
for
it's
that
actually
reason.
maybe even easier because if you're just like make anything out of anything, like use any tool and have unlimited time, you're not probably doing your best because you never know where to stop and how
Yeah.
to even format that.
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of wisp in like a little
Yeah, yeah,
air
yeah.
particle. I don't know what to guide me, please.
Yeah. So this, yeah, so that went pretty well. Yeah, okay. And actually, I really wanted to talk to you about streaming because, yeah, you stream almost professionally, just like all the time. So, yeah, just maybe you could share a little bit how that goes and how this whole like journey started and where it led to.
Yeah, for sure. So I started streaming just for fun. When I got my first job, I was working at Arc Productions, which is not Arc Productions anymore. Long story about that. But I wasn't like I needed more like because when I was at work, I was doing like character retopology and like character modeling, character sculpting, and things like that. But it was like I was working on Barbie and Elena of Avalor for Disney and things like that, right? So it was like, yes, it's enjoyable, but then when you do a lot of that, it becomes sort of formulaic as well, especially in production. So I was looking for a little bit more of like, how do I express myself artistically? Like I said, I'm very like, like a little bit like I
Don't
need to
blame
do
you for that. Yes.
it. So, my friend told me that she was doing like, streaming, and she said it was really fun. And I would watch her streams and just hang out with her at night. And I was like, oh, geez, like I really want to do this. Look at this community that we can build. Like people are so cool on here and stuff. So I tried it. Obviously, my first stream was a complete like I was muted most of the time. I was like, I don't know what's happening. People were playing that knock knock meme on like the audio and stuff. Like I would click on things. I thought people were knocking at my door. Everything was a mess. But at the same time, it gave me this like satisfaction of like, I actually got something done at home because people were watching me and holding me accountable. I'm gonna do it again and again and again. And then eventually, Kyle from Pixelogic, or no, I don't think yeah, he was the first one that I had talked to, but people were in the Pixelogic stream for a ZBrush summit, I think, and they had announced that they were opening up applications for this new thing called ZBrush Live, and I was like, why not? Let's
Yeah.
try. So that yeah, and then they said yes, and there we go.
Wow. And so your first streams like pre ZBrush Live, that was Twitch or
Yeah,
Discord.
yeah, Twitch in the good old days before the DMCA takedowns and all that nonsense that was happening. So, it was kind of like a like a party. Thinking about it is nostalgic. Yeah, I don't have any of the VODs there anymore. Unfortunately, they Twitch the platform has made like a mass deletion of everything. So I wish I could share it with you.
I know. Yeah, this is yeah. Heard of that. Yeah. I bet it's yeah, it's painful, but yeah, whatever
Yeah.
now. Yeah. So how regularly do you stream now?
So I try to do maybe 3 times a month about on Wednesdays on the Pixelogic channel. Sometimes here and there if I have the time and I'm not like super like stressed or wanting a day where I just like vegetable into my couch.
Okay.
I'll say, hey, I'm gonna do a stream on my channel. So that's been like both ZBrush streams, and I tried a VR stream for Medium recently as well. That was really fun. So just it's just my stream is sort of one of those like Wild West, like do whatever the heck I want kind of things, whereas the Pixelogic ones are more I'm gonna answer your questions, whatever you have, to the best of my ability sort of thing.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. So when you stream, it's about a 3 hour thing, and you also like, I mean, you get a sculpt done during this time. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, they're actually 4 hours, but we take like a break in between because we don't like blood clots and sitting for too long. So
Yeah, yeah, no, of course. Yeah. Okay. So imagine if there was no like ZBrush Live, would you still be streaming?
oh yeah, 100%, 100%. It's just
Amazing. Okay,
yeah,
amazing.
it's fun.
Okay. Like actually, I know that many people want to get into streaming, and there is a lot of, like fear about this, or just like a lot of uncertainty how to go about it from, like from many standpoints. Like, how do you prepare for your streams?
Coffee.
Okay.
And make sure that I have a lot of water as well.
Okay.
You'd be surprised at how dehydrated. Well, you probably know because you do these interviews, you talk to people a lot. So you
Yeah.
know, like talking so much, you get like dehydrated. It's also surprising how fast you forget that you need to eat and all these like normal life things. Like
Yes.
when you're streaming, you get so sucked into it, like more so than playing a game, even more so if you're playing a game and streaming, right? That you kind of forget everything around you. So I would say the best thing that you can do to prepare for stream is set aside like a specific time frame. They'd say,
Okay.
okay, at this time, I'm gonna take a break for sure, no matter like what hype train is happening. And I'm gonna take care of myself, like be it like drinking water, getting yourself a snack or whatever, because there's been some streams where I come away and I feel really like lightheaded and like whoa, like I put way too much into that. Like I got way too excited. I'm a very excitable person. So it's you can yeah it the fear of not being prepared though, like oh no, what do I not say to people in the chat and stuff like that. If you don't have any viewers, like at first I would say don't worry about it. Like just do art. Eventually, at some point, somebody's gonna come in and they're gonna say hi. All you gotta do is say hi back. It's super easy. Like they will talk to you. Like most people are not gonna come in and just be like, haha, you're garbage trash, go away. Like no, I've had that maybe like 5 times, but that was like, like out of the entirety of all my streaming. But that's like very specific types of people. You're not gonna like randomly get that. Most people in the art community are super supportive and everybody just wants to learn, especially on Twitch. They'll come in, they'll ask you like, oh, what programs do you use? Or oh, what are you learning here? And they're also super helpful too. So when you're learning, like when I first started from my first job, obviously I was really still learning a lot of things. I met a lot of people that were in the VFX industry actually from streaming. They would come into my chat and be like, "Hey, did you know this trick?" And I'm like, "What is this? Oh, now I do, right?" And you meet people that way too. So people are don't be afraid of it because it is also a networking tool. Surprise, surprise! There's tons
Yeah,
of
no,
people on Twitch.
exactly. You just like put
Yeah.
yourself out there, and yeah, like
Yeah.
people just like looking at your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So preparation wise,
Mm.
that I don't really do too much. I makeup.
Yeah, of course. Like, yeah, for all the
Yeah.
girls out there, for the 10% of the audience.
Yeah. Come on, more, 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 more.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. And like in terms of, like preparation, I don't know, like concept and ideas and mood boards, I don't know, like do you do anything of this, or is just like already happens on the stream?
Okay, so whenever it's like stream type, so if it's on the Pixelogic channel, usually the Pixelogic channel, I don't have really anything. Um, and that is because I'm trying to demonstrate a sort of like, this is what you can do by just mashing around shapes and stuff and only focusing specifically on working your shapes and what kind of a design you want to go with. Like just when you have absolutely nothing in your head, being that wispy air person, right? How
Right.
do you go from being like having absolutely nothing and no box to giving yourself some kind of a box, right? So I usually just take that like a sphere and I concepts from chaos, as one of my friends used to put it, right? And so you just mash it into any which direction, don't care about like stretching polygons or anything. And then you do this sort of thing where, you stare at clouds and you can find images in the clouds and things like that, right? It's kind of the same thing, but in 3D. So you're looking at the mash that you just
Yeah.
made and you're like, oh, that actually looks like a lizard. Or I think that would be kind of cool as like this ethereal being or something. Now you have a jump off point to go and reference pictures and create a mood board. So that's usually what I do on stream, which is a little bit daunting for some people, but I like to show you how to do it. And I really encourage people to do that as a supplement to constantly studying, right?
Right.
Because it exercises your imagination, which your imagination is built off of all the studies that you've done and everything that you've looked at and, you know, worked off of in the past, right? But the connections, making those connections, you have to kind of separate yourself sometimes from
Right.
looking at pictures super strictly.
Okay. Wow, how interesting. So, basically that means that, over the course of your streams, there is no like specific program. You just kind of go with whatever, yeah, with whatever comes up, like, and like basically no pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And that in itself can feel a little bit like, oh, scary. Like, what if I make something garbage? But at the same time, it's again,
I
like
mean,
I
it's
said,
all
I am
whips. It's just like, oh, like,
it's
yeah, no
it's
pressure anyway.
sketching. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And not being afraid to post your sketches online is really, really important, I think, too, because you're gonna make a bunch of garbage. You're gonna make more garbage than you're gonna make a good thing, honestly. And that like that's totally fine. That's normal and your progression as an artist. And, you know, exploration is something that you shouldn't let go of and you should embrace it if you want to just I feel like having fulfillment as an artist as well, being able to express yourself and all of that kind of stuff. So,
No,
um,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. So I came across, like a bunch of your stream sculpts on ArtStation. Like I
Okay.
think you have this post with like just I don't know how many are there. I like stopped
Just dumped
counting.
them.
Yes. Like a dump of
Mm,
of all these sculpts, like but rendered. I think those
yeah.
are like finally rendered. Yeah, I was just also wondering, have you ever taken any of your stream sculpts to the next level as of, giving it like a fancy finish or something? Or just like
So
basically all of them are just like training and streaming purpose.
yeah, a lot of most of them are just like yeah, sketches, right? And a lot of people ask me to like, are you gonna re-topologize this? That's a big one. Like, are you gonna rig it? Are you gonna rig it? That would be a nightmare to rig. I'm like, don't worry about it. We're being artsy here, boys. It's all good. But yeah, I usually do illustration from it. So, like I like painting as well, right? So when it comes to 3D, I use 3D to supplement my painting process as well because it speeds it up, right? So if I enjoy a concept or I see I could do something with it, I'll just, you know, quickly throw it into Keyshot after the stream, get a few render passes out from the rough sculpt, and then I'll just dump it all into Photoshop and just have some fun with it. And that's what a couple of my pieces on ArtStation actually are. Just, you know, from stream, I've just kind of said, just dump some color on this on in Photoshop and have some fun that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
actual model though, like I usually just it's
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Got it. Okay, this is really cool. On the streaming side, I was also curious, like, if you were to start now again,
Hmm.
where would you go, like channel wise? Where would you stream, and how would you start streaming now? Like, I don't know, would you promote your streams somewhere? Would you spread the word? Let's say you're just like, yourself like 5 years ago, but in 2020.
Right. Yeah. I think with the news of Twitch and things like that, I would probably be cautious of starting on Twitch if I'm being fully honest. I love the platform. I love you know, all of the emotes and like, you know, creator features that they do have. The unfortunate thing is this sort of like DMCA takedown thing, and they're very very confused about it right now. So I would probably say YouTube. I've seen a lot of people with success on YouTube, and the positive with YouTube as well is you could also start your own channel
Yeah.
at the same time,
Yeah.
right? So you could have your own videos that you put out, like you know your highlights, right? So maybe you want to condense your entire stream into like a quick time lapse. That's probably something that I do. Honestly, if I had more time, I would like to do that as well. And definitely posting on social media. If you want to grow your stream, which is, it's not something that I'm actively doing because I have so much work. But if you wanted to actively grow your stream, the best way to do it is to make like bite-sized clips, like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, things that are really easy for people to consume, and then put that online, be it on Twitter, like, the
Yeah.
box format on Instagram,
Instagram, yeah.
yeah, and just kind of have it, recycle. So the best thing is to do is, okay, you have your stream. Now, what can you do with that content? You're going to recycle your content, right? So you take that stream and now you make a time lapse. And then, from that time lapse, we can take my favorite parts and make clips. So you get all this content from
Love that.
one
I
piece.
really love that.
Yeah.
That is really smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I know. God, I wish I had time. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but like in general, as an artist, what platform do you prefer nowadays? Just like, from everything that's out there, not necessarily streaming specific.
So, the most satisfaction that I have posting my art is probably ArtStation and Twitter. Instagram is kind of iffy because it's just like, it's so small that, you can't really see everything, but it does get a lot of traction. I probably get the most traction from Instagram, but it's not my favorite platform. I enjoy Twitter the most because of interaction, and ArtStation obviously just because it's just professional, and like, it's a great way to showcase your artwork, right? So yeah, it's nothing's like
Yeah.
perfect.
No, that's true. I agree about
Yeah.
Instagram. It's just like, yeah, I sometimes get an impression that it's not necessarily made for this type of art because you can't really zoom in.
Yeah.
Yeah, also it's just always on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can't really put it on like big screen. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I guess there's like ins and outs. Yeah. So and finally, like, what's the biggest then that kind of that changed for you, or kind of that was influenced by your streaming, that kind of happened in your life? How did like your whole streaming experience just influenced what you do? Is it like mostly about connections, or is it mostly about just like the discipline? Just like keep asking myself.
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of different things, right? Like you said, a whole bunch of what you said. Um, I'd say I found out what I really wanted to do by streaming.
Wow.
Yeah, because like, I got home from work every day, and then I got to actually just, well, I'm gonna sculpt something really quick. Well, I'm gonna sculpt something quick again. Oh, you know what? I like that. I'm gonna do it again. And so it's just like
Love
feeding it,
that.
and now I just like I have like this need to like concept sculpt. Like I love doing just iteration after iteration after iteration, and I've gotten a lot faster at it, comparatively to when I first started, obviously, right? Like, the more you do of something, the faster you get. So in that way, streaming has influenced my career, because now I'm doing concept sculpting professionally because I've done so much of
Yeah.
it, right? So that's super, super cool. And then connection wise, I've met like so many friends from Twitch, that have invited me to different industry gatherings and things like that. And I've gotten to meet so many cool people just from streaming as well. So that's influenced my life like crazy too. I probably would be a complete hermit if it wasn't for Twitch. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, this year is hit hard, but like, if you're streaming, you're talking to everyone, And
Exactly.
so,
Yeah. It's like a totally like a social activity, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the buzz at the end of stream from your head. Like, you've been talking so much, you feel like you've socialized with a ton of
Okay.
people. You're like, I gotta lay down.
So, how many people, like out of curiosity, do you normally get, like just on average, or is there even an average?
Oh man, that one's hard because like I usually try not to look at the number at
Yeah,
the
I
bottom
know.
of
It's
this.
like, yeah, and kind of sometimes distracting to know how many
Yeah.
people are there.
Yeah, especially when you first start out. If you keep looking at the number, you're gonna see it go up and down a lot, right? Because
Yeah.
people are they're gonna filter in and out, right? And not everybody has 4 hours to just
Yeah,
But
but do you think
on
it's even important? Like if it's
to
like
me,
if it makes a difference eventually. I mean, yeah, with whether you have like 10, 100, or like I don't know, yeah, 1,000 people, like would it be different quality stream?
Um, that really depends. Sorry, it depends on the audience. I think. Your quality, the quality of your chat, it really just depends on what kind of a community you build
Yeah.
as a creator. You can go on Twitch and you can go into some of the big streamers, and it's a toxic hell waste of just and that's something that you can allow or not allow as you set your own rules, right?
Yeah.
So the numbers only really matter if you're trying to like get partnered and make this like a full-time job, for example, right? Because then you need a
Okay.
certain level of concurrent viewers, number of hours that you've streamed every week, etc. I'm not actively trying to pursue that, so if I get more than 5 people a stream, I'm happy. But I also don't I don't focus on that. My personal stream, which I do only very infrequently, it has an average of like 70, 80.
Okay.
That's what the stats are, which is not super high or anything like that, but it has like peaked at a couple hundred a few times. It really just depends on what day, what time, did you announce your stream,
Yeah,
all this kind
yeah.
of stuff. Yeah, so yeah.
Well, I bet by now like a bunch of streaming hacks. Yeah, and how to make things work better probably than when you started. It was just like,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but like I said, like the numbers specifically in the art community, it's not. Don't expect like thousands and thousands unless you have like a YouTube channel, where you're pumping out content, right? And you
Okay.
can expect to then, like I've seen art streamers get like 100,000 or more subscribers, and in which
What?
case if they were to, yeah, but they're pumping out
Yeah,
content,
yeah,
right?
okay,
Like
okay, okay.
it's like their job, right? This is a side thing for me because I just enjoy doing it, but if it were my job, I would do that as well. I'd probably go to YouTube and make sure that I have that content base, because that's where it is for artists specifically.
Yeah.
You can't just stream and expect it to be a livable thing, because you're not going to have like over 1,000 viewers most of the time.
No, of course, yes.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's like that's pretty interesting. And still, like, although it's not your job, as you say, it's like I bet it's still taking a huge amount of time, because if you're only streaming during 4 hours, yeah, then I bet like cumulative over a course of the week, it's closer to 10 than with all the like bits and pieces that have to, come together.
I'm sure like if it were years ago, that would be the case, but I've gotten into
Okay.
such of like a groove of it that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm streaming in 5 minutes. I'll just sit down, like, like I already had my makeup on from like a meeting that I had earlier in the day. I'll just sit down and be like, okay, you know? So that's like the level of like, I really don't need to prepare for this kind of stuff. When you get into the groove of it, you don't have to like psych yourself out or anything. You're just talking to people, right? Like that's
Got
really
it.
it. Once you're doing something very specifically tutorial based, then you're gonna want to like set everything up for everyone, right? But
Okay, yeah.
I'm very like, off the cusp kind of.
Okay. Well, and the
Yeah.
final question about it that I have is actually the tech side. So, do you have any tips on like tech preparation? Like, if there is anything that was your like a lifesaver, or it's just like your standard tech that you had from before and you didn't have to add anything. Well, I guess a microphone.
Yeah. So when I first started streaming, I just had a webcam, like it was one of the Logitech ones,
Yeah.
and the built-in mic with it was totally fine. So if you're on a budget, just get like one of the Logitech, the older models with the built-in mic, and it's usually totally fine. or even if you have just like the
Yeah, the
mouthpiece for
headset.
the yeah, that's totally fine too, especially when you're starting out. Life-saving wise though, oh man, everything's just sort of been like an upgrade to what I've already had, right? Like anytime I get something new, I'm like, hey, like it doesn't need to be there or
Okay,
anything.
fine.
I would just say that like as long as your PC can handle both like the stream running like OBS and your 3D software or your 2D software, whatever you choose to do, then you're good to go. So invest in like a decent processor, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You definitely
Mhm.
don't want to have like a crash in the middle of something or just like in the middle of the first one.
Oh, it just slogs though. It gets really laggy. So
That's
yeah.
yeah. Alrighty. Well, Ash, we've got a tradition here on the podcast.
Okay.
I'm just gonna run you through um, a list of 10 questions, and you're allowed to reply with like up to one sentence. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it's just like
All
a
right.
questionnaire. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
scared.
No, you shouldn't be. So, I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. So, what's your number one tip for combating distractions when working from home?
Oh. Uh oh no. Put on music.
Okay, good. What's your favorite tradition or holiday?
Halloween, definitely.
Definitely. What's your favorite way to get in some exercise?
Oh, I pace around my house.
Like inside.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I guess that works.
Yeah.
Is there anyone ever tried that? Please put that in the comments. What's your most used emoji?
The laughing joy one.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
rolling one or the steady one.
The steady you know the joy, it's
Yeah,
got the
like
two.
tears of joy. Yes. Okay. Uh, what's your source of inspiration?
Anything natural like National Geographic photography, etc.
Okay. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Oh, just be you. Honestly, just 100% be you.
Love that. How do you celebrate little victories?
With food. A lot of
Mm,
food.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, totally relatable. If you could see one movie again for the first time, which one would that be,
Oh my
and
god. Okay.
why?
Interstellar for the Miller's Planet scene. I like that entire sequence. Just I loved it so much. I go back yearly and watch.
I love that movie too. Yeah, yeah. So, if you could choose any two famous people to have dinner with, who would you go out with? Like from the
Oh,
past, from the present, doesn't matter.
I'm gonna just say I don't know. Maybe Stephen King and J.K. Rowling just to see what they would say to each other, and I'd watch with popcorn. Like
Okay. Amazing. Well, and finally, what's your backup career?
my backup career is probably something to do with dogs, like a dog trainer or dog daycare or
Amazing.
something to do with.
Like you could probably start as a dog walker and
There you go.
just like really like baby steps in that career.
Yeah.
All right, amazing. I love that. Well, we're done. Man, this has been amazing. And Ash, thanks so much for sharing everything. I think it's been one of our most productive like podcast episodes in terms of content. Just like, you literally laid out everything about streaming and I'm glad I went down this road.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I just like when you get me talking, I just
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Like now I'm thinking that I should have you again like pretty soon and we can talk about something else. We can probably like cover a bunch of content as well on a different topic.
Yeah, anything you want. It's honestly, it's my pleasure. If I can help, then I'm happy to do so.
Awesome. So I'm going to put all the links in the show notes to your stream and to the socials so that people who are listening to us or watching us could get some more insight and yeah, can continue watching you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, awesome. Ash, thanks again for coming and looking forward to having you again sometime soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to Art Heroes Podcast. Check out www.artheroes.co for show notes, more interviews, and free tools made for you by our team of mentors. Tune in next week for more inspiration, and keep up the great work, hero.